I want to take a moment and talk about latency. What is latency? In the simplest of terms, it's delay. It's the time it takes for the data, in our case, the music, the instrument, to travel from its point of origin to the computer and back through to you via the speakers or headphones. Since a computer can't do everything at once, it uses small amounts of system RAM or buffers to temporarily store the chunks of audio information for playback. If your buffers are too small and the data runs out before Windows can catch up, you produce glitches, pops, and clicks, which you obviously don't want. Making the buffer size larger solves these problems, but it has an unfortunate side effect, and that side effect is latency. So let me see if I can demonstrate this for you. Right now I have set up in Mixcraft an instrument track, and I've plugged in a USB keyboard using it as a virtual piano. So I'm going to hit the keys on the piano, and you'll see and hear the latency, the delay it takes from the time I hit the keys to when the sound is produced and comes back at me. Obviously, that is extreme, but it's great for demonstration purposes. To adjust this latency, let's go back into Mixcraft, go up to File, Preferences, and then Sound Devices if it's not already selected. Right now, my sound device driver is the wave driver, and I see that I have a buffer size of 57,344. which then has a latency delay of 2,600 milliseconds. And you heard and saw what that produced. So let's reduce this buffer size to the smallest that this driver is able to make it, which is 2048. Now we have a latency of 92 milliseconds, which is better, as you'll hear. I still have some delay. Now every computer is different. Right now I'm using Mixcraft on a laptop, which is not the fastest laptop. Now for my purposes, using Mixcraft on a laptop, and if I'm just putting together a song using loops, or if I'm doing mashups, this is fine. But if I want to record live drums or anything live, and if I'm weighting down my mixes with a lot of virtual processors, we're going to have to change this. So let's go back to File, Preferences, Sound Devices, and right now it's selected to the wave driver. The best we can do is a buffer size of 2048 and a latency of 92 milliseconds. If we have a desktop, I recommend upgrading your sound card. Now if you're like me, that you run Mixcraft on multiple machines, a desktop and a laptop, I've chosen to use an external audio device. There's lots of them to choose from, but they allow for the use of the ACO drivers. And if you're running Windows 7, you have the option of using the WaveRT driver. Using the sound card that came with your computer will probably suffice if you're putting together a song using loops and/or doing mashups. But if you want to take full advantage of Mixcraft's power as a DAW, then you will most likely need to upgrade your sound card, or at the very least purchase an external audio interface. As you can see, there's lots of them to choose from. I saw one online store that had 36 different makers, and each one of those made multiple different interfaces. But as a general rule, you get what you pay for. If you have a desktop, you may want to choose to upgrade your sound card. My personal preference doesn't lean this way. First of all, I use Mixcraft on a laptop, and I want the flexibility so that my interface can go where I go. If you only need to plug in one instrument or mic at a time, you can get something very simple like the Icicle by Blue Microphones. On one end it has a USB plug, and on the other end it has an XLR input. Now they also make these interfaces with TRS plugs. For a bit more money, you could purchase a 2-channel interface, such as the PreSonus Audio Box or the M-Audio Fast Track Pro. And if you're a guitar player, take a look at the Line 6 products such as this, the UX2. It comes with software for amp modeling, so it's great for guitar players. As for me, I like being able to track at least a full drum kit, so I opted for the M-Audio Fast Track Ultra 8R. And at the risk of sounding like a commercial, I really like this unit. It's completely compatible with Mixcraft. It's got 8 XLR TRS inputs, great sounding preamps. It uses MX Core DSP technology. It's got a dual headphone amp. It's just a great unit. That being said, when deciding on an interface, figure out what your needs are and where you think you'll be in the near future. I'm talking about things like how many inputs you're going to need. What are you going to be recording? Guitar, vocals, drums, or all of it? USB or FireWire, etc. Will you be using this on your desktop or laptop? Maybe both, so then you'll need an external interface. Check out your budget, see what you can afford. Finally, talk to the people who own and use this gear. They will be the ones who can give you the best input.